Hello and welcome to the sixth and final race of the Restart Esports Invitational Series, brought to you by Beast Mode, powered by Rose and ZMS Esports Studio, the number one broadcaster in esports entertainment. And we are traveling to France for this last race. My name is Nathan Craig, and my co-host for this last race is none other than the man behind Racing, Mike Swart. Now, it was too much for Holly, and she had to get in and compete in this last race and experience some of the action that we have had the privilege of watching throughout this fantastic race series. Race 6 takes us to the home of racing, France, for 3 laps of the Casse Pats, and with just under 70 kilometers of distance and 465 meters of climbing, this will be a fitting finale to what has been a challenging race series. We still have 12 men's elite teams and 6 women's elite teams desperately competing in this series for the remaining points and ultimately for the win. This race is going to prove to be very exciting. Now, Mike, thanks for joining us, by the way. I really do appreciate you stepping in for Holly. How are you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm doing pretty okay. Woke up this morning feeling a little bit under the weather, so glad I'm not racing today.
Oh, excellent. Do you want to take us through what we can expect for race 6 around this really challenging course?
Absolutely. So we're in France. Race 6 here takes us to France for this leg-breaking race. It's leg-breaking because we have a big climb in the middle. So the Casse Pats route covers the large outer loop of the map in a clockwise direction. The first 12 kilometers is pan flat with 2 timed sprint sections. But then that rhythm is broken up in the back half by 2 KOM or Queen of the Mountain climbs. Beginning with a short lead-in from the start pens, racers will travel through the marina. This marina sprint banner is the official start-finish line of the route. The segment begins at the flattest portion of the France map as riders pass Mont Saint. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this. Mont Saint Michel on the left, as well as the familiar Arc and Needle near the sea. They will then pass a field of sunflowers before entering the second village. It is here that the race will start to get technical. After leaving the village, racers will need to contend with the smaller of the 2 KQMs, the Aqueduct KOM. The Aqueduct KOM reverse is about 400 meters in length and 2.3% incline. Is it really a KOM? Zwift says it is. It shouldn't worry these elite racers during the first or second lap, but then it's onto the Petite KOM with 2.7K at 3.9%, and this is where the race could possibly be won, especially on the third attempt. The Beast Mode Prime key segment for this race is the Petite KOM during the first lap.
Yep, this is going to be a really difficult race. I mean, it looks interesting because of that Petite KOM that they've got to contend with 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so having to tackle that, and I can assure you the racers are going to start feeling it as they get in the second and third lap.
Absolutely. Now, I'll add in that Petite KOM. Our talking points here say 2.7K at 3.9%. Having raced this before, it does not feel like 3.9%. That whole second half is over 5%. And then I think the last few pitches are up into the 10+%.
Yep.
Oh, it's brutal.
It does begin to hurt, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's check out the team standings and the points. So we can see they're the teams that have been competing in this series. Abus Synergy, Beast Mode, BL13, Cryo, Deepak, Foundry. Looking down the list there, Restart, Relentless, Team Wahoo, though. They're the ones that are on top of the leaderboard. So we can see here that very quickly, the point system is both individual and team-based. Individual races are going to get from first position down to 30th, 30 points for first, 29 points for second, and so forth. With the team scoring, though, the top 3 riders for each team that go through will take home the points, and that's where it's at, this being a team racing series. Now, we can see there that the Beast Mode Prime scoring award for that key segment that Mike mentioned earlier There are 3 points available, first, second, and third for the first across the line. Not the fastest, but the first. So that's where we're at the moment. And we're looking for lap 1, which is the Petite KOM. That's that key segment. So they're going to hit that first. And I expect we're going to see some fireworks on that first climb.
Absolutely.
All right, looking down the list there, we have the overall individual standings. So I'll quickly run up the men, and Mike, you can take us through the ladies there. We've got Nikki Hugg in 15th, Daniel in 14th, Anthony Poles in 13th, David Talbot in 12th. And then equal 10th, we've got Jack Morris and Ika Morelli. 9th, Brian Bishop, the Alien Hunter. 8th, our very own Australian Josh Harris there. 7th, Hossein Salibi. 6th, Jamie Philpipe. Then in 5th, we've got Rodrigo Fernandez Simon. Man, he had an awesome race in race 5. David Pacheco in 4th. Ruben Dont in 3rd. And then in 2nd, Niall Peterson, the Norwegian Viking. But first is Nicholas Drykott, who has jumped into the lead with 139 points.
Wow. Amazing. So I will cover the women here, and I apologize in advance on any pronunciations. So in 15th, we have Sarah Olem from Abus Synergy. 14th, Eleanor Wiseman from Saras Esports. 13th, Leah Sophie Ramert from Abus Synergy as well. And 12th, Megan Rathwell from Saras Esports. 11th, Eliza Hogg from Beast Mode, presented by Rose. 10th, we have Christine Schneider from Abus Energy. 9th, we have Amelia Welt, also from Abus. 8th, we have Maria Tomerby Thompson from Abus as well. Man, there's a lot of Abus in here. 7th, we have Nicole Meyer next, presented by Inshorn. 6th, we have Maria Marb from Beast Mode. 5th, Leah Cuthbertson from Restart. 4th, Jen Reel from Saras Esports. 3rd, Randy Gino from Restart. 2nd, Sarah Roach from Abus Energy. And finally, our leader, Catherine Curry from Next, presented by Insured.
Yeah, no, Catherine has been absolutely dominating this. All right, so looking at the Beast Mode Preem Award overall individual standings. Look, I'm just going to go through the top 5 there. But David Talbot there from Saras Esports is in 5th position. Rick Van Erck in 4th from Wahoo Esports. In 3rd position, Nikki Hogg from Next, powered by Insured. 2nd, though, we've got Ruben Dont there from Abus Synergy, and in 1st position there with a very commanding lead of 11 points, Niall Peterson, the Norwegian Viking himself. All right, how are the ladies looking there, Mike?
All right, so the women's standing. In 8th position, we have Heather Shanks from Next. 7th, we have Tiffany Perner from Cryo. 6th, we have Christine Schneider from Abus Synergy. And 5th, Amelia Welt, also from Abus Synergy. 4th, we have Randy Gino, again, from Restart. 3rd, we have Maria Marb, Beast Mode. And 2nd, we have Sarah Roach from Abus. And finally, the number 1 position is Nicole Meyer from Next, presented by Insured.
Yeah, no, Nicole and Sarah are definitely fighting for that position there. All right, so top 5 men's, the team standings here. We're looking at Beast Mode are in 5th position there. Cryo are in 4th. Team RWB in 3rd. Falgi Punchers Coalition in 2nd. And on 333 points, an amazing effort there, Wahoo Esports.
Amazing. All right, so team standings from the women. We have 6th place, Cryo RTD. We have 5th place, Beast Mode. 4th place, Restart. 3rd place, Saras Esports. 2nd place, Abus Synergy. And finally, 1st place, we have Next, presented by Insured. But it's pretty close between Next and Abus, so we'll see how it plays out today.
Yeah, that's going to be great to watch. All right, we can see a lot of the riders who have been fantastic in volunteering their cameras to get us some real life action there. So we can see, and we'll be cutting across to them as we go through this race. But the men's have just left the pens and they are out on the road. So we can see there that we have a number of the riders already pushing, and I'm just looking down the list there, Mike, and I'm just looking for a couple of the key standouts there. And obviously, I saw Rodrigo there. I can see him floating around the mix. I can also see, Dean Cunningham. He's our race organizer. So special shout out to Dean. Thank you very much for all the effort and the time and the trouble you go to deliver us such a fantastic race series. Okay, so Holden's there, Holden Camus as well. Who was now? I did see Ruben Dont is in the mix, which is great.
Yeah, there's a lot of really strong people here.
So,
from Restart, I can talk about some of the people because I know them.
Yes,
we have
please.
One person racing today, Jaden Yeager, who is pretty freaking strong guy. He is was the original. I asked everybody for some stats about themselves beforehand or interesting facts. He says he's the original or the ultimate master blaster. He's in the masters division here in the United States, but he has won the amateur TT nationals multiple times. Last year he did the pro TT nationals and was in the top 7, I believe. So he is incredibly talented, incredibly strong person.
That's fantastic. Yes, no, it's always impressive to see some of these guys actually in action. And not only that, but for a lot of them, we've got the camera on, which we'll cut to as we go through various parts of the race here. And you'll be able to see them suffering, which is fantastic, suffering in real time. I've just confirmed that Niall Peterson is in the mix there as well. So that's great. Just watching to see some other names sort of jump out at us there. But bike choice, Mike, what would you think? What would you be thinking in this race if you were in this one?
Boy, I don't know anymore. They've kind of changed some things up. Oh, it looks like somebody's stringing it out here, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I mean, bike choice, though, to get back to that, I would say the clear choice for me would probably be to focus on the finish. So you're going to use the Pinarello, whatever that fastest frame is. Which one is it?
The Dogma F, I think.
Yeah, the Dogma F. And then you would probably want to do the disc or the lightweight wheels, not the Milsteins, but the my mind is blanking. One of the lighter aero wheel sets with it. So because of the KOM, you're going to need to have something that has a little bit less weight. But if you can make it over with the disc wheel, you're going to be set up nicely for the sprint finish.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards what you're saying. I think you're spot on there. I think a nice, aero frame set's going to be good. I'd be tossing up between going with like a full disc setup, given that so much of this is flight, except for the bit that's not. And I would probably be erring on that to see if that would give me a little bit of an extra kick. But speaking of kicks, we can see Tom there pushing well off the front. He's already opened up a 5-second gap. Yeah, as you say, Mike, it might be interesting to see if these early breaks are going to amount to anything, given that there is so much ahead of them. But it's good to see Tom there getting a little bit of sponsorship time there on the front.
Yeah.
Getting some camera action.
These absolutely could work for a while, and it all depends on the reaction from behind. So we had everybody sit up for a little bit, but now you can see Njal and Holden and everybody that was sitting on the back of that pack starting to come forward. And they're going to try to, at this level, it's not pulling the entire group back. You're going to try to jump across, get into that early break, and sit away from the group for a while. So we'll see as everybody in the pack looks at each other and see if anybody can get away to join Tom as he buries himself up here.
Yeah, I can see his wheelbarrows have they're just fallen out all over the road. It is an 8-second gap now that he's got there, but just looking at the power numbers there, I saw Nell was pushing for a moment. He's upped his power to it was about 6 watts per kilo. We've got Mark there from Rose. He's sitting at 4 or 5 watts per kilo. So, look, they are putting some effort in, I think. but
Oh,
no
yeah.
one really wants to sort of, bury themselves to try and bridge that gap at the moment. Now, we've seen gaps open up in the past there where, the riders have been at the front there for quite some time, only eventually to be pulled back. But, well, it'll remain to be seen if Tom can make this one stick. So speaking
Yeah.
of, races there, we've got a few of the camera shots already on screen there. Looking from left to right, we've got Christopher, Daniel Halliday, Dean Cunningham there in the mix, Holden Camo, Jaden Yeager, and Jamie Philpott as well. So great to see those guys there, all in their individual pain caves, all suffering for this race.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And
say anybody looks too incredibly stressed at the moment. We
no,
have somebody bridging across here. And that
looks like
is,
Ruben's making a
yeah, but you can see now everybody is starting to react, and that gap up to Tom is just dwindling quickly. So I think it's all back together and reset, as they would say.
Yeah, I don't think they want to let Ruben get onto the front of that as well. And Niall is, definitely said, no, you're not going there without me. And we can see now that front has started to regroup back up. Tom there, Ruben and Niall, followed by Daniel Pettinger. He's in the mix there. Mark, Jaden as well.
I'd say it's still pretty stretched out. Something could happen. I mean, you look at some of the actual bike racers in this, and they're going to use a lot of different tactics than you see on your normal Zwift racing community stuff, where this is now people will sense that weakness and they're going to come over the top of you and attack off the top. So exactly like Niall's doing here. He sees that everything got stretched out and he is pulling that front group away.
Now, so coming up then, as we spoke about in the intro, where the Moses is flat until we hit that aqua.com. Do you think that aqua.com at this stage is going to pose any kind of situational braking, or do you think they're just going to sort of take that in their stride and not worry about it until they get to the petite com in this first lap?
Well, I think what you're going to see is the first lap and some of the second lap basically be your major attrition points. So there's going to be a lot of there's going to be some people here that just can't stay with that front group for the entirety of this race, and this first lap is going to start to drop those people off the back. It's going to put them in difficulty early, and things like the Aqueduct KOM is going to drop them off the back, reducing that front group, making things even worse because there's less place to sit in.
Yep, you're right.
So,
it does start to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I don't think you're going to see a lot of people off the back, but I think there's going to be a few. So the big players, this is not going to be an issue at all. Everybody else that's hoping to get a didn't finish last, this is going to be a key moment for them.
Yep. Just to stay on that, to stay in contact with the front. And you're right, because after you get out of that village there, it does start to angle up, even though it's even slide. That false flat as it leads up towards the aqua.com, I think it's going to test some tired legs. And as you say, for those riders that perhaps aren't going to be in the mix towards the end, that could be a key moment where we start to see a few of them fall to the back. And the group right now has stretched out considerably, given that we are only 7.3 kilometers into this race. Quick shout out to, I was going to say, Brian Bishop's in the mix there. He's actually on a plane. He's not racing today. He's on a plane watching this and having some FOMO. Matt Wheeler there. Lorenzo's joined us. Thomas Sorensen. Good old Thomas. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Andrew M as well. So shout out to everyone in the chat. But certainly this is going to be quite interesting as they push through this flat section.
Yeah.
So, Niall's been, and Ruben actually have been quite dominant in this race series. I've got to think that this is going to favour Niall because of that last, petite KOM that they're going to have to tackle. He certainly does.
I would tend to agree. That is going to be so fast, especially over the last little part. So we'll see it when we get there, but it kind of goes straight and then it starts doing these switchbacks, and the final switchbacks are a big kick right before you get to that downhill. So as long as he can get a gap and hold it on the downhill part of it, I think he's going to be set up well, or whoever does that the best is going to be set up well. But take note, if you're not far enough away and you have some people in your group that are good at descending or a little bit heavier, they're going to catch you, especially in a group. Holding a solo breakaway on a downhill is super hard.
That's it, especially after almost nearly 70 kilometers of racing. It's going to be a tough one. I can see that Niall is on a Tron as well. He's on an orange Tron at the moment. There's quite a few Trons I can sort of see in the screen there.
Yeah, so that's interesting, talking about the bike choice. Tron is always a acceptable pick, I think. Honestly, the differences are subtle between all these bikes, and I don't know if having the disc wheel versus the lightweight wheel versus the Tron bike does much more at this level for people other than making them feel better about their choice. But the Tron is always a classy pick.
Yeah, it is that, isn't it? It's I always find that when you're in a race, and especially if you're suffering, you look to your bike and think, oh, I wish I'd just chosen the other bike I was trying to figure out. But there, I think you're right. I think in this course, the Tron is quite quite a good bike. There's no question about that. I mean, regardless of what the stats will say, I think in game, it's one of the best bikes you can go with. But I can see a couple of Pinarellos there in the mix. Not too many discs. I would have thought there'd be a couple of more discs. Well, we have seen a few discs there. Yep. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Holly Bergen.
Yeah, well, now we're looking at the women's race that just started. Their bike choices, very interesting. I mean, like you say, we don't see mini discs at all in there. So they might be gaming for more of a bunch group effort through the whole thing.
Yeah, so that new racer that we've been hearing about, Holly Bergen there, the Queen of Yorkshire, she's joined in the race. So this is going to be fantastic. Every race that we've been commentating on, Holly and I together, she's become more and more anxious about trying to get in the mix and to help out her teammates there, especially Randy Gino. So it'll be great to see how Holly goes in this race. Now, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to see what bike choice Holly's made, because she definitely goes for the blue Tron. So if we can zoom in. No, she's not chosen the blue. She's chosen the disc wheel.
Disc wheel with the most important point, or most important piece of kit that she has, is the Scotty the Squirrel ears.
Yep.
Those are those are just as effective as the disc wheel, in my opinion.
Well, we've discussed this. I think we've agreed that you get an extra 5 watts.
Now
with that kit on.
Let's take a moment here and kind of like take a look at the fashion choices that we have. Everybody has their team kit on. Some people have helmets on.
Yep.
We have, what else? We have the squirrel ears.
Yeah, we've got the squirrel ears. We can see that one of the ladies has got the hats on. That's Nyquist.
Yeah, and then we also have the headphones. Now, the headphones were a unlock during the big spin event, right?
That's correct.
So, yeah, I never got them, unfortunately.
Oh, you didn't unlock the enough of the roots there.
Yeah, that, and I don't see anybody wearing it, but the beret is one that I missed.
Oh yes, yep.
Anyway,
the beret's very classy.
Yeah, the real end game here in Zwift is not the elite racing or whatever. It is the customization and how amazing you can make your avatar look.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. And it does, I think, you're right, it does add a touch of class, especially if they were wearing the beret in France. I think that would have been quite the choice.
Yeah, too bad. Now, I'm going to mention the men's race. We're kind of multi-screening here. They're looking pretty good. There's some action going on in the men's race. We have some people off the front. Speaking of good hat choices, look at this. Incredible.
So we've got Noel, Dean Cunningham, and Tom Money.
Yeah,
Money.
But he's not even in the. He's not even close. Poor
Oh, I was
Dean.
just looking. Yeah,
Dean.
you're right. I was looking at the list there. Yeah, so yeah, it's really Najal and Dean Cunningham there on the front, and they've opened up a 10-second gap over the rest of the group there.
Oh man, I
Ruben,
feel sorry for Dean right now. He's
he'd be
he's setting
suffering. Do you
himself
think?
up. He's going to be setting himself up for some pain. Null is so strong, and Dean is incredibly strong. But we'll see how this plays out. I mean, they're cooking. Look at them.
Yes. Yep. Well, I can see that. Was that a PR? I think that Niall set coming through that segment. So certainly these guys are not letting up. Looking at his 1 minute power, he's sitting on 391 watts for the moment. Dean is at 351, and you're right. I think Dean would be maybe regretting his decision to try and sit on that wheel.
Well, the pack's working. They are stretched out behind. There's a group kind of stuck in no man's land in between. I see a lot of big numbers that are getting generated here. So people are really worried about these two getting away. We'll see if
Ruben,
it sticks.
especially. Ruben's definitely trying to shut that down.
Now, they're not to the first micro KLM yet, are they?
No, they're getting close to it. So we can see there in the map in the top right-hand corner, that you will see that sort of that squirrely section of the road there, and then it'll begin to straighten out.
Yeah, they are at the Aqueduct KLM, it looks like.
Yep, it's definitely climbing up to it.
So,
and this is this little false flat I was talking about, where you want to think that it's flat and that you've still got that momentum coming through the village. But we can see there that the percentage of the incline is starting to kick up 4% now, and it does put some pain into the legs there. Ruben now there as well on the camera we just had. So
they haven't dropped anybody off the back yet. So this is that point I was talking about, where the first attrition point. If you're struggling to stay with these early surges and you have to burn some matches, this is going to hurt a whole bunch as everybody else accelerates.
And that group has really stretched out now.
Yeah, so you come over to the top here, and all it takes is a few people kicking one more time on the little downhill, and it is just misery.
To really solidify that group. And of course, then it's the question of then who's going to be the one to try and chase down and bridge that gap. And at this stage, there's lots of red and orange numbers floating around. You'd be hard-pressed to think anyone would be volunteering their hand up to try and get across that group. But at the moment, it seems like the group's sort of come back together on this downhill.
Yeah, and
this is only the first lap too. Oh, hello.
I'll mention our person, Munich, got dropped off the back there, so he was trying to climb it. But now we're back with the women. Holly
Bergen there on the front.
Yeah.
A little bit of sponsorship time. She'll be loving this. This is where she likes to be. So they are, coming across the bridge there. It was a staggered start, so they're only at the 5.5 kilometre mark. The men are at the 14.3 kilometre mark, so we get a sense of the different start times. But Holly has opened up a big lead there. Now, the question is going to be whether Holly can maintain that kind of a gap again so early on into this race.
Yeah, we haven't seen Holly race yet, so maybe she's gonna shock everybody else. Nobody knows what to expect.
Well, that's it, isn't it? So, and she's had some great recon information over these last 5 races, watching a lot of these ladies race and getting a sense of where they're at in terms of the strategies they've employed for the other races that we've seen so far. Certainly, there's a few ladies in here that can definitely mix it, and we can see there that group is getting her back down to 1 second now. So.
Yeah, that didn't look like full commitment from Holly yet. That was just shaking the
just
legs
testing
out
the waters?
Yeah, I think so. So another thing to consider, and this is something that I think could really play out in Holly's favor, is if she's not going to be chased by the people that are like working for overall points. So she doesn't necessarily have any of those points built up over the season or the series. She can certainly help with the team points, but individual...
Yes. Yep.
She's not not there. So some people might let things get away.
Well, I suspect that Holly would hopefully be looking towards Randy there. And I think Catherine as well, another one of her teammates, to try and see if she can help with them, get them either help bridge some gaps if they do open up, or potentially be a lead out for when that's required. But that petite com or the petite KQOM is going to be a spot where she can really add some assistance in making sure that those ladies are definitely well situated when it comes to that section of the course.
Absolutely.
But looking at the list there, so I'm just sort of reading some of the comments from the people watching as we go. Thomas says that Holly only went with the squirrel ears because Zwift haven't implemented the horse mask yet. And that's a throwback to a race that we were watching in Thomas do, which is, I think it might have been the Tony Race series, where he has a fantastic horse mask that he donned for a bit of it. So,
oh boy, I couldn't imagine wearing a horse mask racing on the indoor trainer. Oh, awful.
To be fair, I think he had finished the race, and so he threw that on, and we were having a good old few minutes watching him navigate the course in a horse mask.
Oh, nice.
But now the men's are coming up towards, there we go, the petite KOM. So as I said, this is going to be interesting to see how they attack this. Now, Niall is pushing, well, he's actually sitting in the back. Just looking at him at the moment, I reckon he's going to be, looking at how some of the riders are going to approach this. He's going to use the draft of this group, I think, to help him at the earlier stages of this this petite KOM, and see.
I think you're going to see like your savvier racers sitting on the back here in these moments that were not really stretched out, not really working much. There's a lot of draft to be had in the back here. I mean, they're not going super easy. This is still 3 watts per kilogram. I mean, I'm looking here. We're focused on Jaden, and he's still pushing almost 300 watts in the middle of that pack. So. I think what we're going to see this first time up is just kind of grupo compacto. We're going to all be together and go for that, see who can actually stay on. But as we get into the later parts of the race, you're going to see more team stuff happen where they're going to stretch things out and really put people in difficulty before you get to the hard parts. Look
You're
at this.
Spot on there. But just as we spoke about that, well, because this is the key segment as well. So this is the Beast Mode Prem Award points segment for this race.
Very true.
Now,
yes.
Having said that, now the Norwegian Viking has such a commanding lead in terms of the 11 points that he's currently on. He's essentially got this aspect of the race series locked up. But again, we're going to see whether he's going to do anything here and try and add to that with an extra 3 points, or whether he's happy to sit with this bunch, save his legs, as you say, Mike, save his legs for later on the race where he's really going to need them. So it'll be fantastic to watch this. We can see Jaden there on the screen, Niall's on the screen as well, and Ruben too. Now, Ruben is the one to watch as well. So he's certainly got some ability here, and it's going to be fun to see how he approaches this.
You can see we're starting to get into it here. This is, in my experience, this is the easy part. You're going to turn this corner right where they're about ready to get to, and then that's where it starts to ramp up a little bit more. And it starts to hurt so much. Oh yeah, here we go. So you can see on the elevation profile, it kind of levels out, and now it just instantly kicks up. So we mentioned earlier 3.9% average, but we're at 6% now, and if 7%, if somebody drills it like it looks like Niall is, it's going to put everybody else in difficulty.
Yeah, that group is starting to stretch out. Now we know from these this climb as well, where I think each of the left-handers flatten out and each of the right-handers kick up. So having that information, you can actually try and engineer this in a way that you can extend that lead, even just by getting out of the saddle and pushing as they come around these corners, and really stretching that group out. But Jamie Philpott is definitely on the front there. Ruben's on the front there. Niall's on the front there. So they certainly, they aren't letting this one, just go by the numbers.
Yep.
They've got 6.7 watts, 5.1 watts.
This is a little bit easier section now, so it's gonna kick up one more time after this corner. Well,
Yep.
again, not one more time. It's gonna kick up two more times after this. But I'm already looking at the map, and we have quite a bit of attrition happening at the back. Holden Camus is off. It looked like it was pretty hard lead into this, so the big sprinter is gone. There's a second group kind of like dangling off the back. Maybe they'll be able to jump back on. Now we can see really just starting to turn the screws here. Oh my. Look at that. 8 watts per kilogram. He's going for it.
Yep. He wants those extra points.
Absolutely. But Philpott is still there. I mean, as long as you kind of keep your powder dry, it gets very undulating up here. And then that final little switchback is really steep. And if you have a big kick, you can jump right through.
Now, looking at the draft, there is draft to be had here. It is not as much as it would be on the flat, but it's still quite decent. So it could be that we see Niall here just sort of sit in behind these 2 or 3 riders in the front of him, let them take that that hit as they finish off this part of the segment, and then see if they can stomp it over the top of them and take the points there.
Yeah. Oh boy. They are just slamming each other here. Look at that. There was a brief jump up to over 10 watts per kilogram. They're holding 8. My. Okay, so this is the final little bit of kick.
The turn before the banner.
Yep.
So he's just sitting on Philpott's wheel. Yeah, Ruben's just behind him. Here we go. Out of the saddle now. They're going to start pushing. You can see the pain faces coming into it. Oh, and Niall's got it. He is just taking the points there. He timed that perfectly, didn't he, Mike?
He did. And now he's a little bit off the front, and what we'll see is what's he going to do on the downhill. So is he going to let everybody come back together? Is he going to try to pull this group forward? Because they have a pretty good gap. If you look back, the next group is 10 seconds behind, effectively.
Yeah, actually, out to 14 seconds now.
Mm-hmm. So you can definitely play a strategic game here and try to shepherd this group of 4 people together to
keep the power on, keep the speed up. See if they can maintain that gap coming back into the flat section. Now, Thomas has picked me up on an error that I made. Sorry, Thomas, you are right. It is not left and right, it's right and left. So as I take the right-hand bends, it kicks up. It flattens out, and left-hand bends, it kicks up. So my bad there. Getting a little bit of super tucked on the way down. Now, it is a nice, like a long, straight section. There's a bit of a kink just up ahead, but then it just straightens out, and it continues that way for about 2 more kilometers. So definitely a lot of space there to try and maintain and grow that gap.
Yeah, and you'll see all the riders spiking their power. This isn't necessarily sticky watts. This is something different. This is a swift descending technique where you get your speed up and you maintain that speed more on the downhill. So you'll see this group kind of rotating through at that high wattage to keep that speed really high.
Now, I want to pronounce Thibaut Bollinger, who's in the mix with these other riders there. He went into the red quite deeply, so it'll be interesting to see how if he can maintain and stick with these 3 other riders who are insanely strong. Jamie Philpott there, Ruben, and the Norwegian Viking himself. So I can see he's recovering at the moment, trying to get a little bit of probably some fluids on board and maybe some gels just to try and get that energy back. But that gap is still maintained at 13 seconds back to the rest of the group. And as you say, there's some of the other riders have now welted back there at 24 seconds, 37 seconds. Dean Cunningham is welted back there.
So but the situation behind is we have this front group of 4. We have 2 groups behind that are chasing. Mm-hmm. So that group really splintered up. And then we have some more people that are dangling off the back. Like, unfortunately, my boy Dean Adam Otzot from Relentless, and then
Yep.
also we have Butler off the back from that big effort up the hill. So what we'll
Yep.
probably see is the two main groups that are chasing weld themselves back together. They'll join up forces and see if they can actually catch this front group of four.
Before the lead extends out too much further, because you'd have to think that if they can marshal themselves and start working turns here, that this flat section they can really capitalize on that gap they've got open so far. If they can get it to 30 seconds or even more before they come around for these climbs again, you'd have to think that it'd be incredibly hard to shut down.
Yeah, so at this level, it's basically turning the screws until you don't have anything left to give. So they're trying to get everybody else. Yeah, they're trying to get everybody else to give up behind. And once that is once you've given up, you're done. So you can see here we got this front group. The group behind they have a pretty solid pace. They're taking turns. It looks like they're being smart about it.
Yeah, I can see Travis Gatesman there from Relentless. He's on the front. He's doing a 4:33 1 minute. Daniel Pettinger as well, 3:54. So certainly, they're not letting it go easily. But I'm also seeing that number creep up too. Now they're out to 15 seconds there, 16 seconds for the rear of that front, that chasing group.
Mm-hmm.
So you at the moment, and I'm not saying this is going to be the way, but at the moment you'd have to think that there's a few riders in that mix that have let those front four riders go.
Yeah, so we were just on Jaden. We see him. He's in group number 3. We're on Dean now. He's on group number 4.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. There's a lot of flat section here, and some of the TT specialists absolutely can pull this back. Yep. But as long as the front is still working, Null is so strong, and if he has motivated people with him, they can probably keep it away for a while.
Well, he definitely does have in Ruben and Jamie. We've seen them time and time again absolutely put in some amazing efforts over this race series. So you'd have to think that having those two other riders with now is going to be a bit of a game changer. Like he's in 18 seconds now. It's going to be really hard. Like I can see Rodrigo there on the front. He's trying to work that front as well, along with Travis, along with Simon Walter as well. Christopher's there. Jack Morris. So they're all taking turns in the front, but I'm just not seeing the same power. So that 1 minute power at the moment, Ruben, Null, Jamie, they're all working around that 380, 320, 350 watt mark. The chasing group is at 296, 245. So you can't bridge a gap by going slower.
No, and also we're team racing here. So the teams that have missed out on the front are going to be looked at to do all the work to get back.
To get them back, that's right.
Yeah, if your teammates up the road, no way are you going to do work.
You're not going to do any gap bridging at all. So jumping across to the women's, how are we shaping up there? Okay.
Well, yeah, it's looking pretty good. It looks like we're just got over the Aqueduct KOM. Mm-hmm. Pretty safe for everybody. We're on a little bit of a descent now, and that means that we're going to be getting set up for the first QOM attempt, which is also a preem, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm just looking down the numbers there. Yeah, we've certainly got a lot of the ladies still in the mix. Amelia Velta there as well. Emily, Heather Shanks. Heather Shanks we're not seeing a lot of in this race series, but Jennifer Reel we have, Leah Cuthbertson, and of course Randy there as well. So it's going to be great to see how they approach this particular climb, given that the group has been sitting together quite nicely for a lot of this race. You'd have to think there are definitely some fresh legs here. Maybe some big efforts are ready to go. Now, I was just trying to remember if Damo can bring us up very, very quickly the Preem Beast Mode Awards. I just want to have a quick look at the points there that the ladies. So Nicole Meyer, who had been so dominant in this race series early on, unfortunately isn't in this particular race. But so Sarah Roach, Maria Marb, Now, I'm not sure I saw Maria in the lineup here, Mike. You might have seen her name flash up, and Sarah Roach as well. But Randy could be in the prime position there with Amelia, who we have seen. Christine, I didn't think I saw, but certainly Randy and Amelia there could be fighting this out. So there'll be two ladies to watch as they come up to this petite QOM.
Absolutely. And this is where we're going to probably see some of that teamwork start, where especially we got a lot of restart ladies in here. They're going to work for Randy, pull her to those hard parts and set her up nicely.
Get her to sit on the wheel as they come up through those turns. So this is going to be quite the painful one. Now, I was thinking to myself whether Dean had chosen the first lap deliberately to really shake them up in terms of the pain level for these 3 laps.
I think it's a real smart choice to have this early, because otherwise the race turns into a sit and watch everybody else till the one key point, right? You got to have multiple key points. I'm obviously in America, and we have a lot of criterium racing, and they'll do a lot of preems throughout the race just to keep it interesting. I mean, it might be for a pair of socks or a water bottle or something. The prize doesn't matter. As long as there's a finish line and the ability to say that you won something, that's going to keep the race interesting and keep people gunning for the front.
Yep. Correct. Yep. So I've just had a quick sneak over to Holly's Twitch page. So she's streaming this live. I'm going to put the link to Holly's Twitch page for those that are watching. Go across and go give them a follow and a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. And you'll get to see them racing. Now, she looks quite settled. She has a smile on her face. So I dare say
she always has a smile on her face.
She does.
She's the most positive person on the whole restart team, which is incredible.
Yeah. She is fantastic when it comes to being such a motivating team player. And it's a real treat to watch her race, especially in some of the other races that she does on a regular basis. Sarah Roach is in the mix there. That's great. So Sarah is definitely going to be one to watch in this petite com, especially for this first segment, the Beast Mode Prem Awards segment, which is what we're coming up to now. Jen Reel there, Amelia Velter. But it's going to be coming down to, I think, Sarah is the one to keep an eye on, and Randy as well. So Sarah Roach there. Where is Randy? Just looking down there she is. Gino. So we might leave the camera view on Sarah, but we might flick to Randy as we start to hit the lower sections of these climbs. Now, as I was saying before, there is definitely a lot of draft to be had in this particular KQOM. Especially at the lower stages, Mike, as you were saying, where it starts to ramp up ever so slowly. So definitely, right from here, as you say, the savvier riders are going to probably sit back a little bit and let some of the other riders take the hit on the front, try and save some of those watts, and then bring that to bear as they get to like the 5th and 6th turn.
Yeah, so this is really the softening of the legs part of it right now. So you saw in the men's race, we had a lot of big attacks leading into this. And I think it really kind of tempered down this first section. With the women, I don't know how it's going to play out. Maybe since they weren't necessarily going as hard having so many pointed attacks leading into this, maybe we're going to see somebody really biding their time and going to try something big on this first KOM or QOM preem.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. I definitely think that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see a really big attack come up, and I feel these ladies are really going to try and push this group beyond its limits and really, set that pace then coming into the second lap. And I know we're going to stay on the women's here, but I'm just having a quick look at the men's. They have opened up that front gap now to 50 seconds. And as I predicted, Thibault, I want to say Thibault, I'm sure I'm getting it wrong, but he got dropped out the back. So
our man Bullinger, he's going to go back, I think. Oh, he's still working, but we'll see. when we get over there.
Yeah.
This is super interesting though. So they're making this first right hand corner easy, left. That's when it gets hard.
Yeah,
yep.
that's
so
where it starts to bite.
Somebody had a very great mnemonic here. Thomas Sorensen in our YouTube chat. What was it? Turn right, you're all right. Turn left, feel perfect.
Thomas is fantastic for those little quips.
Yes.
So it's great to have him in the mix there.
Here comes the Buffet. Probably pronouncing it wrong. Not part of my normal language, but yeah, we're starting to ramp it up. You can see Sydney on the front. Yep. Sydney is on restart, of course. She is an amazingly talented triathlete. Did you know Sydney? Let's see. I have to get this exactly right, or else I'll be told later. But Sydney won the 70.3 World Championship for Ironman.
Oh wow! Okay. That is just amazing.
Strong.
Some of the stories that we get to find out about some of these races. It's just fantastic. I love hearing some of their accomplishments and what they do in real life, as well as racing online, which is just, when you think about it, having a bunch of these riders coming together from different parts of the world to all compete in this elite racing series just blows my hair off.
Yeah. Now, another interesting fact about Sydney is that she is racing at altitude. She's in the Colorado area, up in the mountains there, or
up in the Alps there. Yeah.
The Alps, the Rockies. Denver's the mile high city. She's in that region and racing at 5,000 feet. I don't know how many meters that ends up being, but
be about
1.6 kilometers.
But I say one and a third. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a real drag on your ability to the amount of available oxygen for you to breathe.
Yeah. So, to get back. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So I can see Randy is out of the saddle now. She's starting to put some big numbers down. Leah still on the front as well though.
Yeah, it looks looks like we're just dragging up. You can see Randy's pushing a really good pace there, or at least really good cadence. So trying to stay limber yet probably saving the big, strong acceleration for a little bit later.
So the Relentless ladies have all pushed to the front now. I think there's been a concerted effort to try and get them to the front at this point of the climb. We can see there, though, the numbers are quite high, 4.5, 4.4, 4 watts per kilo. As you say, Sydney was at 5 watts there, but the Relentless ladies are definitely trying to take this one if they can. I just flipped across to Holly's Twitch stream, and that smile has disappeared.
Oh, no. All right, we're turning left again here, so take care. This is the final little bit kick, so this is where we're going to see all the action go down for the QOM points. Now, we're seeing Leah Cuthbertson on the front, along with a lot of the restart ladies leading this out. Okay, so they're making the right turn, which is all right, I guess. Staying within mnemonic. And then we're going to see in the last few meters, everybody start to kick really strong.
So we can see Sydney there. Is that Sarah
Roach
just coming up?
And here goes. It goes too much
Sarah
of a
Roach?
team tag.
Yep.
I believe it is. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
just
she's taking the points
dominant
there as well.
Wow.
Really strong coming across that line. Yep, Sarah Roach, congratulations getting the points there. How are we looking down the list though? Yep, we had Amelia maybe second. So that'll be interesting to see how those points play out. But certainly Sarah was on 8 points. If she has taken that, which I think she has, that's going to be an extra 3 points for her. So I think she may have the Beast Mode Preem segment awards stitched up.
Yeah,
but jumping back to the men's.
Oh, here's Bollinger.
Yeah,
he's in what we call no man's land.
Yes,
this is the worst possible case for somebody like me that's not a strong TT person, where you're dropped off the front group, but you haven't quite been picked up by the second group. So
That's
you
right.
are just dangling.
Yeah.
There.
And I think he's quietly waiting on that second group to come back and collect him, because his numbers have dropped down for his 1 minute. He's back down to 230 watts now. So he certainly isn't in a position where he's trying to push that any harder than he has been. But he'll be glad to see that group. And they're only about 14 seconds behind now. So he'll be glad to see them come up, and he'll sink to the back of that pack quite quickly and try and recover as best he can. Now, that front group, though, has opened up over that chasing group to 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Well, that is no surprise with the numbers that I'm seeing on the chart here. This is a demonstration by these top three. Now, Null is he is just whipping that group. He's over 5.5 watts per kilogram since I've been talking here. Just killing it. That is
really
incredibly strong performance. And it makes me wonder what is going to be left for the next KOM and final KOM. And he's a strong rider, but you burn all your matches and you can lose a lot of time on these KOMs if you're not as fast. Well, obviously not as fast, but everybody rides with a big pop, right? So you go over the KOM, and we saw he was at 8 to 10 watts per kilogram. But if you're just averaging 5.5 and that group behind you is doing the 8.5, you can make up some pretty serious time.
Yep, you can really start to chisel that gap back. But we did see, I think it might have been race 4, Mike. You probably could correct me here, where the riders tackled and finished on the epic KOM. That was just a masterclass from Nal there on climbing, because I think he took that out over Ruben by maybe 1 or 2 seconds, if that, or it might have been Jamie, but certainly he has that ability to climb. So as you say, when they come up to that third petite KOM, that's going to be one where we're going to see either Nal there really, solidify his dominance in this series, or he could, find himself off the back of the pack.
Absolutely. And looking at the top three here, all these guys are mega strong. They're super strong. Yeah. They are just incredible. And you can see that pop is, as we go over the Aqueduct KOM again for the second time, that pop is not gone. They are still going pretty hard.
Yeah, out of the saddle there. And I think the power numbers are maybe slightly down from the first time they tackled this aqueduct, only because the gap has opened up now to 1 minute and 43 seconds. So you'd have to think that they'd be sitting there quite happy, not wanting to put too much into this particular segment, knowing that they've got the KOM to come. But certainly at a minute 44, I think I was being a little bit underestimating them there when I said, they could maybe open up to 30 seconds. They're
last time you gave last time you gave a time gap, it was just about 1 minute. So they've pulled it out an incredible amount since then.
And it's just the three of them on the front too. So taking all the turns, there's nowhere to really hide in that front group. And so they've certainly, they've really come together and solidified that dominance they've got over this race at the moment. But Bullinger there, we can see the group just about to collect him. And I think he'd be happy to see this group come up.
Yeah. This is actually a pretty big group behind here. So let's see who we have in here. We have Gatesman, we have Gala, Pettinger, Holiday.
Yep.
That's pretty
Mateo, Daniel, Travis. Yeah.
Still
Jack Morris there as well. Yeah. No, certainly. There's no, even though first, second, and third may have gotten away at this point in the race, there's still definitely some team points and some individual points here up for grabs, even in this last race. So certainly there's going to be some riders in there that are vying for a solid finish. But
Absolutely.
this front three have really just obliterated the rest of the group here.
Incredible.
Almost at 2 minutes. So 1 minute and 48 seconds. And those numbers haven't decreased, Mike. They just, looking at Niles there, he's 5 minutes at 346 watts. Jamie's 5 minutes is at 324. Ruben's at 333 watts. And so they have not let up at all.
No, it's incredible to think about that. His, for context, I'm a fairly okay rider here, I think.
Yep.
And they're averaging what I can do for like 5 minutes. So it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. I don't make mention about my power numbers in comparison because it's just embarrassing now. But and that's why you get to be the elite. I mean, these guys are literally the best in Zwift. So it's a real treat to see them watching, like to see them racing like this.
Yeah.
Ruben's just chimed into the chat there. He says he can confirm he has burnt some matches already.
Yeah, he's still able to talk in our chat. So that not enough matches I get.
So he's still got a few there, you think?
Absolutely. Well, we'll find out right here. I think the amount of dread is starting to build in this group.
Yep.
As they're looking at each other, wondering what Null is going to do on this next KOM.
Yeah. Yep. And like we saw in the first lap there too, he's sort of sitting at the back there a little bit, just waiting to get a little bit of draft, get a little bit of recovery before he attacks this climb again. Now here's the question though, Mike: do you think there's going to be a big attack here, or do you think they're just going to try and keep the pace at a consistent level where they're not going too far into the red? Because we know that there's no points up for this particular segment on this lap. Are they going to just, play this relatively easy and maintain this gap? Or do you think there's going to be a little bit more of a push, especially from now to try and maybe drop perhaps Jamie?
Well, that's an interesting question, because at 2 minutes of a gap, I don't think any one of these three has to worry about the group catching them. Like, they've all demonstrated they've got what it takes to stay away and finish this out. Now, I think the question is, does Null need these two to maintain all that? Like, can he drop them on this, and does he need at least one of the two? Can he do it all by himself? I don't know. Or maybe one of the other two, Daunt or Philhot, is going to surprise us, and they don't need Null. And if they can get rid of him, maybe they can stay. I think we're going to get set up for potentially a single person, a solo breakaway, making a big statement here on the last race.
Yep. Well, my money would go towards Ruben. So Null and Ruben could be the two that, if they were going to go and see if they can maybe shred this 3 down to 2 coming into the last lap, I would be looking towards those two riders to try and, take it off and go down this descent and see if they can further extend this gap. Whether Jamie can stay with them or not. Look, his numbers do look good. I'm just looking across at some of the numbers he's got here. He's the Weebles he's got. He still looks as if he's in a fairly good position. I can see him out of the saddle moving from side to side there, but I'm not seeing that pain face that we would normally see when riders start to get into that red zone.
Ruben casually sitting up, wiping his face. Looks pretty comfortable there.
Yep.
We'll see. Although here we go again. We're on the rights and lefts. They're about ready to hit this second part, and they've been hammering for this lap. So all it takes is one person just to turn it up a little bit more, and suddenly you don't have it in your legs, and you start to have that gap. Yeah, right here. We'll see what happens.
So we'll see if Niall can really start to push this group perhaps. But as you say, whether they're going to actually try and do anything interesting here on this second lap, or just try and tick this one off, maintain that gap, because it has extended out even further now to 2 minutes and 20 seconds whilst they're being on the climb. So, to see whether they're going to try and do anything here, or whether they're happy just for the three of them to come over and then decide on maybe what's going to happen around that flat section. But at 7%, they're all out of the saddle there now. Niall says that Jamie is the real deal. So, well, Niall, I'll stand corrected if he's going to stay with them, which perhaps he's going to, because they can see that he is moving around and they are look to be taking turns, perhaps. So they have maybe decided to take this one a little bit easier than in the first.
I'd say they're all the real deal here. This is quite the performance. But yeah, you can see like the power numbers that we're seeing here. No spikes. Everybody's kind of staying what they were doing on the flats.
Consistent.
So yeah, nobody's really trying to hurt anybody else yet. So it may be a truce to get over and see where we end up on the last lap.
I think you might be right. And because we can see there, at 5.9 watts, 5.7, 5.8, they are keeping it relatively in control, aren't they? They're not flashing up red numbers, jumping up to 7, jumping up to 8. They are keeping it relatively consistent.
Now, as we hit the big pitch at the end, we'll see if it stays that way as well, because for some of these guys, it's hard to keep a steady cadence on the steeper pitches. You just naturally, as that resistance comes onto the pedals, you naturally hit it a little bit harder.
Yeah,
so
you start to drift off, don't you? Yep.
Yeah.
But I just did notice, though, that Ruben and Jamie both have full disc setups. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely going to help. And maybe that's one thing that Niall is thinking about coming down to the descent, having those discs in front of him. It's going to give him maybe just a little bit more time to recover on the back before they hit the flats again. Not that I think he needs a lot of time to recover, because he has been so strong and so dominant. But when it comes to your strategy, I think any time where you can get a little bit of recovery, that's always going to be a benefit.
Absolutely. And with the descending physics right now, the way they are, I think as long as they're all together, it's going to be hard for any one person to get away because of an equipment choice. Pretty tied together at this point.
Yep.
Now we'll see in that group chasing on the back. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the group that's up front still doing about the same pace, but you have that chasing group, and I see a lot of red numbers popping up there. I don't know if they're going to claw any of that time back. Certainly not 2 minutes. But they are certainly ramping it up a little bit.
So we can see the chasing group on screen. It is going to be tough. I think there's a lot of tired legs in that mix at the moment. Mm-hmm. There we go. Just looking at Matteo there and Christoph. So there's a lot of orange numbers starting to sort of come up on the board. They are doing similar power. I don't think they're doing as much power as the first three were as they came over this climb. I think we saw, Niall and Ruben and Jamie sort of sitting around that 350 to 400 watt for their 1 minute. This chasing group here, there's a few riders in the front there that are maybe 380, 370, but a lot of the riders are sort of sitting at the lower 300 numbers. So I think they've resigned. Yeah, they're resigned that front group. Yep. And now they're racing this group.
Yeah, Matteo, this is a tough point to be. You're off the front. You're hoping somebody else is going to come up to you, because you probably don't want to go. He probably doesn't want to do a solo TT effort from this point. But nobody's taken the bait yet, so we'll see.
David and Mark aren't lifting their power up very much. Rodrigo, he's sort of sitting at that 317 watts. So I think they're happy letting go at the moment. But I think that, as you say, the physics of a chasing group when they're descending, it's very hard to try and get away, or if he's got a bit of a gap, to try and maintain that gap. And I think he'll get swallowed up quite quickly as they come over and go through the banner.
Yeah, and you can see it like right here. All of a sudden, that spacing between those dots is getting really small. So that group just has to turn it up a little bit. Mateo's thinking, okay, I'll just save my energy and tag on for the ride downhill. Yep,
try and get a little bit of a reprieve as they descend. But it looks as if this group has, I think they'll be looking sideways now to see what the others are going to do for this last lap, because for a lot of these riders, this is where the race is at. Those front three have still held on to that gap of 2:17, 2:18. But this front group, of which we've got maybe 15 riders, I think we can see, coming over and now descending. This is where the race is for a lot of the remaining riders. So looking at the Dan Halliday, Jack Morris as well, he's still in the mix. Travis Gatesman there as well. He's still pushing ahead. Simon Walter, Daniel.
And
so
still
again,
plenty of points to be had for the teams in the second finish. So
you're absolutely spot on, Mike. Yep. There's
a lot of strategy. Yeah.
Yep. So definitely a few Trons there in the mix. It's good to see. Looking across at the women's, though, where are we with the ladies? So Leah Cuthbertson just in the front there. And we've got Sydney as well.
Drilling it. Yeah. Keeping the pace high.
Yep. Keep them honest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think... I'm just trying to see looking back down the list there, whether we've actually dropped anyone. I don't think we have.
I didn't see anybody. Now, unfortunately,
Randy's in the mix there.
Yeah, my ability to see the women's race is limited. We do have one person off the back, unfortunately, Schneider. So she's
okay, yep. There we go.
Drilling it here, or maybe she's about ready to lap the field. I don't know. No, there she goes.
I was going to say that'd be a big effort if that was the case.
No.
But just looking across at Holly Stream there, and she's looking much more settled now after that climb is finished. Still has laser eyes though. There's a lot of focus there, I can see.
Mm-hmm.
But
as they're starting to approach the next ascent of the mini KOM, the aqueduct here, and we can see
this.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, this could be one where we're going to see a little bit of a breakup perhaps now on this second lap as they come up to the aqueduct.com, whether there's going to be any of the ladies there that are going to maybe work together and try and push a breakaway just on that little, kick up to the banner.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be another little testing point. We'll see how everybody's feeling. For the most part, everybody stayed on that first QOM statement or segment. So we'll see if that was really putting them on the limit or if it was just playing nice when we get up here.
I think there could have been a bit of that, but there might be a few cracks starting to form, and there's a few ladies here that are strong enough that are going to start to look for those cracks, see whether there's any ladies there that just don't have the legs to push over that little, just it's a little kicker almost. Yeah, as you say, it's not really a com, but whether they've got the legs to go over hard and descend down, well, I guess that's what we're going to find out. But looking across the board there, we can see, Leah, Jen Reel, Holly Bergen is in the mix there. Sydney as well, Amelia, and Sarah Roach. So fantastic effort there from the ladies. And again, it's a real credit to ZMS Esports Studio and the way in which Damon has brought together some of these ladies and these riders in total with their cameras in their training areas, their garages, their living rooms, and to bring them on screen and for us to get to see it all in live, which is just amazing.
Absolutely, this is tremendous to see. Now, something I noticed here with the women, we have a vast majority of them with the orange check mark. How familiar are you with that orange check mark?
With that's basically certified. So you're a certified Zwifting.
Gone through the verification process.
The verification process. That's right.
Yeah, and now I'll mention this: the restart race here. We do have a verification protocol. Everybody has to go through it. There's weigh-ins. There is dual recording mandatory. So for these people, they have 2 power sources, and there are spot checks along the way to make sure that everybody's keeping themselves honest. But the orange check mark is really cool that Zwift offers this as a indication that the person is effectively at a high level and playing fair.
Yep.
Yes. Not to say that people don't have it or not, because it is certainly the case. I will say everybody in this race is playing fair. But the orange check mark means that you've gone through the whole process and you've done it at the highest level, which is really cool to see so many people here that have it.
That have they've taken it and done, they've ticked all the boxes that you need to tick, and we can be ensured that what we're seeing here is absolutely indoor racing, virtual racing at its highest level, with all of the verification processes followed. That's good that you mentioned that. Thank you for that. Do you have the tick there, Mike? Do you have a tick?
No, they would never give me the tick. No,
I don't have one.
I'm not good enough to get that the high level. There was a time many years ago when I was younger that I thought I could do it, and I tried. I was
gave it a shot.
But then the real talented people showed up, and
that's right.
I was quickly outclassed.
It's like, oh, come on, guys, give me a break.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you need. I don't know if you need to be an elite racer to get the tick. I know there are other YouTubers as well that have managed to get the tick. So certainly it is available. Like, you can go through the process, you can do it. But it's great to see that that whole verification process is something that's been so important to this race series. All right, looking at the men's there,
we're
Jamie
seeing
Philpott.
And nothing's being given away here. He's drifting off the back. Looks like he maybe got caught out a little bit.
So we were hoping that Jamie could have hung on to the front two.
Well, he's not gone yet. I think he just had a momentary lapse there. I don't know where it happened, but he's still pushing really hard. He's not going to give up. We'll see. And then after that, it becomes, does he need the group? Can he hold 2 minutes over the remaining, 20K here? Approximately 20K by himself?
That's a good question. Good question.
Oh, that is a tough ask.
That's a big effort, isn't it? To TT the last 20Ks at this point of the race and contend with the climb as well. Now, that's a big ask, but you're right though. I think he might be getting them back.
Yeah, he's not,
but he's definitely burning some matches there. That's for sure. 6 points. What's that? 6.6, 6.5 watts per kilo. And I did see Niall's numbers just flash up orange.
Yeah, Niall does not want him back.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
They do not want him back. They are doing some pretty strong pulls here. Now, they'll probably let him back on if he stays on here, but you can see it is, oof. This is terrible. Oh, so painful. Yep.
Ruben is definitely into the red here. So those matches he's burnt.
All Jamie needs to do is stay on it, and maybe these guys rest a little bit as they start to think about the next part of the race.
That's right. And as you say, there's not long to go now.
Yeah. Now, this is to say, Jamie is super, super strong. I was asking for some facts, of course, on Restart here, where I was asking for some facts about racers, and somebody, Niall, chimed in and said that Jamie Philpott actually took a verified Strava KOM off of Quinn Simmons a couple of weeks ago.
Wow, okay.
So Quinn, mega strong, real life racer. And
that's really rare to see that happen.
Yeah, seeing the inside guys actually go through and put it down outside as well. So props to him. Yeah, he's only 3 seconds back. Effort. All it takes is one big kick to get back on. Or maybe just at the right point where the road just tilts up slightly. You can sort of take that momentum into it as they start to slow down a little bit, but you'd have to feel that dangling. He's like, you can almost reach out and touch them, but just not enough. His head's down. He wants back.
Yep. He's fighting for that. But Ruben and Niall there are not letting him get back on easily. They have not let up to say, oh, come on, Jamie, get back in. Let's finish this together. No, they have not said that whatsoever. So they're still, for their 1 minute, Ruben's averaging 380. Niall there is on 367.
Yeah, you smell blood in the water here for the front two when you go through and just one person's out of the group and maybe they haven't been taking pulls, maybe they've been doing really good, taking a lot of pulls for you.
Yep.
And you know that they're on difficulty. So this is definitely a strategic thing. And Ruben and Null say they do not need him. Get out of here. Yeah.
I would hazard a guess that Ruben's right on the edge too.
I'm looking at the camera. He's blowing his nose. It looks easy.
Takes a rest and then it's back to the pain face again. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe there could be a little bit of a breakup here on this the aqueduct. Maybe Niall's going to put a little bit of an effort in and see whether he can shake off Ruben and then go ahead and try and claim this race over that comm for the victory.
Could be. We'll see.
But the chasing group is out to almost 3 minutes now.
Incredible. At this level to have the group, they are not going easy behind. I will say that. Like you'd think, 3 minutes, they're lollygagging back there. No. Every time I've looked down, it is almost the same watts, or at least watt per kilogram. Right?
I'm looking to see that as well. That's exactly what you're right there. That front, the guys on the front of that chasing group are not letting up. They're still trying to push that as hard as they can. Ruben,
there's something about the continuance of speed that they have up here. They're just always on, always above 5 watts per kilogram. Somebody's always on the front doing it. And, the group behind may have people from other teams that are not necessarily interrupting the rotation because you can't. It's really hard to do that in Zwift, but you may just have people from teams that are represented up front here that are just kind of rolling to the front and not making it a little bit tricky.
Maybe not even taking turns in the front. Maybe they're just happy to sit on the back there and let the other ones, because you're right. You don't want to try and help the chasing team get back to your teammate in the lead. Mm-hmm. And now there's in RWB and Ruben. I'm just trying to remember which team he is in. If someone in the chat maybe knows which team, if they can just quickly remind me.
Yeah, and he has that cool A-Bus jersey on, right?
Or is that A-Bus Synergy. There we go.
Yeah. That's not the A-Bus jersey. Is that the national champion jersey?
Yes, it is.
Incredible.
Yep. That's the kind of elite races here that we've been fortunate enough to watch in this racing series. So it's a bit sad that this is the last one, but fantastic at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see there that Jamie, so he's out to 10 seconds now. So he's understood it.
A testament to how the front two know how to ride. I think it's a testament to how the front two know how to ride, that Jamie has stayed on it. Like, he is constantly on the power here. And they have brought out, Null and Ruben have brought out that gap another 5 seconds since we've been talking. So they know all the tricks on how to keep that speed super high. And
the other fantastic thing here is that whilst they may be communicating either using messaging through Zwift or perhaps some other messaging system, chances are they're not. And so they're not picking up on any of the normal cues that you would normally see out in the road when you're riding with someone else. They're not picking up on any, your elbow flicks or your head turns or even the passing comments, to say, hey, let's keep the power up, or it's your turn now. And yet they're still finding that rhythm to keep that power consistent on the front between the two of them, which is just blows my mind that they can do that.
Yeah, and I've done a fair amount of outdoor racing. There's definitely that unspoken communication that happens. You like exactly like you said. You flick the elbow. You look at somebody. You can tell how hard they're working. You sit a little bit. you position yourself so you're like taking more of the draft for somebody, you're upwind, that sort of stuff. Just silent cues that help you work with the other person, and those exist in Zwift as well. There, you can get there's less, but you can still signal that you're working with the other person, and you can certainly do things.
Well, so, I think we can see that the two of them are taking the turns on the front there. I wonder if we can get someone in the chat to maybe even, well, when we do cut back to them, time what the turns are, because it looks as if they might be taking sort of 10, 15, 20-second turns on the front each.
Yeah, they were driving through nice and hard as they were doing it, so that keeps the speed up as well. But now we're back with the ladies as they ascend the QOM for the second time here. And Rathwell, just as I start looking, the pace is actually starting to get ramped up here.
Yeah,
it looks like we're going to have some
watts per
fun
kilo
fireworks.
Yeah. Now this will be a bit of a contrast then, because we saw that the men's, were sort of reasonably happy to stay together, given that there was no real advantage to try and smash the front unless they're looking for a breakaway. And so, whether the ladies are going to do the same thing here, or whether there's going to be a breakaway attempt. So from Megan trying to push off the front there, but the restart ladies though working together again on the front.
Yeah, I like this breakdown, but what they're doing here is probably trying to make a little selection form. You do a little bit of acceleration. You see who comes with you. You wait for somebody else to accelerate, and if you're waiting on the back and you miss any one of those, things get really hard really quick.
Yeah. Yep. So just jumping across to
we have Holly. Oh no, Holly! Get
starting to get dropped a little bit. Come on!
I'm giving you all the tips, Holly. You got to stay up. But
yeah, no, she's getting back on there. That's good.
Yeah. Hopefully, we see everybody make it over, or we see something really dramatic happen here, because that was a pretty big testing of the water at the front.
So we see Randy there out of the saddle there, and Sarah as well.
Yeah, it looks like
Sydney
the pace
seems to be
on
doing
the whole a little bit higher than last time.
It could be. You could be right there. And Sydney looks to be quite, doing this quite well. I wouldn't say well, but certainly not at the same level of pain that I'm getting the sense that some of the other ladies are maybe feeling.
Yeah,
but Jen Real looks...
pain faces can be deceiving, and that's we're talking about those real world racing tactics. That's totally a tell as well. If you can keep a solid face, or if you can keep a straight face and not prove to people, or not prove, but communicate to people that you're not suffering nearly as much as you
you are. Keep your game face on.
It easy. Yeah, they'll take it easier on you.
Or allow them to panic a little bit, thinking, why is that person doing it so well and I'm suffering so badly? They've got a lot left in the tank, might be the consideration. But it looks as if the group is staying reasonably well together. Randy's actually putting some big turns in there. Yeah,
Randy with that amazing camera angle where we just see bobbing shoulders. I love it. But she has a really nice high cadence, staying with it, not really into that low cadence grind yet that you see so often in Zwift when you're trying to push over the last little part. So I think, to me, that signals that she's on a good solid pace here. Everybody else looks like they are doing similar, working through it all. Oh, Holly's dropping a little bit.
I suspect that maybe even if the gap does open up here, that Holly's going to definitely get this back as she descends and gets back into the flat, because her power numbers when it comes to sort of doing TTs are off the charts. And so I wouldn't write Holly off just yet. I think she's definitely got the ability to get them back, especially to come up for that last lap. Now, the last lap, I can't guarantee what's going to happen, but certainly she's got the ability to shut that gap down now. And I'm just trying to see what kind of gap they have open. So it is only 5 seconds, and they are almost at the top of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well, here we go. The right turn. It's all right.
yep,
And that final left turn.
left you bereft.
All right is still 7%. So this has got to hurt. But knowing that you got to do it one more time,
That's it, isn't it? That's it.
Awful.
Yep. So I think if it was me, I'd be just not worrying about the climb. I would just be focusing now on the downhill, trying to recover as much as I can. Trying to get some of that, some water back on.
You go through that start-finish banner, and the worst part about this course is that's not necessarily
That's not the top, is it?
No, there's that little part, and then you kind of roll over here.
That's it.
So if you're mentally seeing the banner and saying, "Oh, I'm done," you can get caught out really quick.
Really quickly. That's right. If you stop pedaling just for a moment or two, you can get caught out, as you say. And before you know it, a gap's opened up, or that gap has extended even further. So here we go. Holly's now going to have to really put the power down now on this descent. Whereas some of the other ladies are going to get a chance to recover a little bit in that group, Holly's going to have to work really hard to, she's going to super tuck. Just as I say that.
Might as well while you can. So we're looking at the speed, and her speed is right now about 60 kilometers an hour. So super tuck only works if you're over 55 kilometers an hour, approximately like 55, and it's like a 3% grade.
Yes,
so
correct.
As long as you, at least me, when I'm racing on Zwift and everything, as long as you're super tucked and you don't see your speed going down, I think it's totally worth getting a little bit of breather here. So
for sure.
Now there are grades that you'll see the speed go down as you're in the super tuck, and that's when it's time to pedal.
So they're averaging at about 60 k's an hour, 58 k's an hour. So if we jump back to Holly, and if she is in the super tuck, it'd be very interesting to see what kind of speed that she would be getting. Yeah, as you say, there we go, 63 k's an hour. Well, hopefully that can edge up a little bit.
Yeah. And depending what draft model you're on, so I mean, this is a little bit of the confusion as Zwift moves through all the pack dynamics. It can actually be slower to pedal down a hill. That your avatar will pick up more like wind resistance, and there's a certain break-even point that, like, Holly's above it right now, but if you're like below 2 watts per kilogram in pedaling, you're actually going to go slower than not pedaling at all. Yeah,
I've noticed that. So if you can super tuck, you'll definitely get more speed than you would if you're trying to force it. But so we've still got maybe 2, 4, 6, 8 ladies here in that front group. And we can see the men's there. So Ruben and Nal there are still together off the front. Gosh, that gap has opened up now to almost 4 minutes.
Ouch.
So they have really done a power of work to make sure that they not only maintain that gap on this flat section, but they've continued to open it up even further. So we can see them starting the last climb, coming up for the last time they're going to come over this petite KOM. And you'd have to think they'd be very happy about that.
Yeah, so I don't know how Ruben is feeling about Najal, but if he's worried about Najal on the last climb, he's going to start doing everything he can to soften him up a little bit beforehand. So you can see here, Ruben's going pretty hard. Maybe he starts spiking the power a few times. Maybe he's not worried about Najal at all. He thinks that he can hold on to the final climb. We'll see.
Certainly, it is going to be good to watch. But Jamie, back there, I wonder if Damon can just bring us up the individual leaderboard. We might have a quick look at that. Yeah, so Nicholas Dreycott there. So there's 120 points between Nal and Ruben. So 120 points versus 112. Now, so I think that Nala has got this one stitched up in terms of that positioning, because there'll only be 1 point between the two of them finishing this race. So one will get 30, one will get 29. So you'd have to think that that's the way this race is going to finish. So it'll either be first, second, or second, first here.
Yeah.
But
here we go. The final time over. Let's see.
So
Yikes.
Ruben, Noel just sitting there, sitting on his wheel. He'll still be getting a little bit of draft. I'm looking right now at Saucer Swift there. Just some numbers on the screen. So 25, 28, that draft number that he was getting.
Yeah, we're probably going to see... well, I was going to say we're going to see like one huge acceleration. But this is pretty constant. Like they are both going pretty strong. I was thinking if one feels confident, they're going to sit in and then
they're going to try and
go all
attack
in at the end. Yeah,
just try and stomp it over the last maybe one or two turns.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps that's what they're going to need. Like that's coming into that descent. Maybe a 3 or 4 second gap is all you need to finish this race off. And it does finish in the marina, so it is downhill and flat for the remaining part of this race after they finish the KOM. So it could be enough that happens. And it'll be interesting to see if that's what they do or whether they're going to stick this together and try for the sprint at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we'll see. If it's a sprint at the end, you got one on the Tron and one on the disc wheel.
On the disc wheel, that's right.
Maybe. That
But,
0.01% is going to come into play.
It could make all the difference. So it could come down to bike choice at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly seeing them both out of saddle, and they have both been out of the saddle consistently for this last lap. So up and out, up and out.
Oh, yeah. No, here comes the kick.
Starting to push now.
Yeah.
Those orange numbers are starting to flash up on the screen.
Looked like Noel kind of caught Ruben wiping his face.
You think he made that move just...
Maybe there's some stream sniping going on here. I don't know. But, oh, look at this. Noel has the power, must have the power here to do this until the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is phenomenal. Look at that. Ruben isn't letting it go. I think he knows that if he lets him go here, it's over. Mm-hmm. So maybe the fight for the race is...
This is the lower percentage now, and if he can weld back on before the steeper thing, maybe he's going to be good. Like right now.
Could stay on this.
Huge acceleration. Now, does he come over the top? Does he take the time to wipe his face again? I don't know.
That would be a bold move.
So it looks like we're going to be together over the top here, Nathan.
I think so. So it could come down to a sprint at the end. But I'm feeling that pain from here. That is really next level.
Absolutely.
Seeing them both fighting for that. They haven't given an inch. And they've really, just both been phenomenal in terms of what they've been doing in this race. And to see them both in the front here is just fantastic.
There goes one more kick from Null over that false flat area on the top.
Yep.
We'll see if he gets that. He's looking for that separation on the downhill. And it looks like the gap. Ooh, boy. It looks like the gap is 1 second on that front, too. So we'll see if he's able to hold it on the downhill. Philpott is bringing up third place here. He's still strong. He hasn't lost any time.
No, you were absolutely spot on when you said that. That he could probably TT the last 20 Ks.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks as if that's what he's done. So he's just got to get this comm done, and then he'll be able to really roll this one in for third, and still maintain a solid lead over the chasing group.
So that front group I'm looking at now, they are still together. Null tried to drop Ruben over the top. Ruben stuck right with it. So this could be a good sprint at the finish. And
so Salibi there.
The third group back, I guess, or second group.
Yes.
Looks like somebody is trying to get away a little bit.
Yeah. So it looks like Sleepy there from Wahoo is trying to open up and see if he can, muster a bit of a result here without staying with the group. He's stretched that out now to 7 seconds. And it's going to be, if he can maintain this, he could be in a really good position to sort of finish this off and get some fantastic points there for Wahoo, who are leading this series from a team perspective. So, although that group is not letting him go, is it? Are they?
No, they are working pretty hard. It's still, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of points to be had here.
Yes.
And
so
now you're comfortably not going to be digging into your leaders, so you can get up front and try to drop everybody else to get the most points for your team.
So I've just had a bit of a look at Niall there and Ruben, and there was a little bit of a push there. I think they're trying to just maximize that draft and that super tuck down as much as they can.
Now we're getting into the real nitty gritty here with this last little part as we come into the marina for the final sprint, right? It's all downhill, then it flattens out. We have the long straightaway and then the hard right to the finish.
Yep, into that cobbled section.
Mm-hmm.
But they are both fighting for this tooth and nail. There is no giving up whatsoever. So they both had a chance to recover. Both very similar in terms of their numbers too. It's that's just really interesting to see that. But it's going to come down to the sprint, as we sort of said. Now they have less than, I'm just looking at, they've got 900 meters left. 850 now.
Final K. I'll let you do the call here, Nathan, since you are the
Let's
pro.
talk this one through. So Ruben has that laser focus going at the moment there, but Niall there is absolutely dialed into this, and he'll be watching for any change in those numbers coming through for this last 660 meters. Now, this little bridge section won't slow them too much with that change in the road surface. They'll both be looking to try and, position themselves, I think, one in front of the other. Now, the question is going to be is who is going to be behind and who's going to be in front coming into this last 450 meters. Niall there is on the front. We're going to wait to see some orange numbers flush up relatively soon, given that now 350 meters time, they are going to be crossing the line for the final time. 2.7 watts, 2.5 watts. Ruben's at 2 watts. Now, here we go. Starting to fire up some numbers. Ruben is lifting that power out of the saddle. Here we go. Both of them in the drops, pushing hard. But Niall has jumped quicker than Ruben has, and I think he's going to take this one across the line. Can he do anything? Ruben is going to be just behind him, and there we go. Mm-hmm. Niall has taken out both the race and almost the series actually, from an individual perspective. So fantastic racing there, and I guess it has been such an amazing series to watch.
Absolutely.
You'd have to think that both of them would be glad this is over.
Yeah, that was quite an effort. So hour and a half of effort from them at over 5 watts a kilogram the whole time. It felt like 3 ascents of that KOM. That is incredible. And then to have the big sprint at the end, well played.
And to get the polka dot jersey too.
Mm-hmm.
That is a significant effort. So for anyone that maybe isn't into racing as much, do yourself a favor and give it a go, because it is insanely hard what we've seen these guys do, and they've made it look so easy. But congratulations there to the Norwegian Viking. Fantastic effort, and Ruben there as well. It's been a pleasure watching the both of them battle this out for the last race of this series. And we're going to see Jamie there coming across the line now. So he has absolutely kept that position. And wasn't that far off, those two as well.
No, pretty impressive. Very impressive ride from him as well.
That was amazing to see that. Okay, so we had the chasing group now. They are just, where are we there? A couple of Ks away from the finish. So they've finished the main part of that descent. And so this will be the time where, again, they're going to be looking sideways at each other to try and figure out who's going to be the one they need to sit on to follow through and try and take this win. Or when I say win, the win in the second group here. Who would you be looking towards,
Boy,
Mike, in this group?
I don't know.
Fernandez?
They're all pretty good, but are there any outstanding sprinters here? Because I think it might be, unless somebody tries to be cagey here like Gatesman, is this going to be a raw watts per kilogram?
It could very well be. That's what I think it's going to come down to. I'm just trying to see who we have in the list there.
Early, trying to do a
just
little
trying to
sneaky.
stretch it out.
If you don't have the sprint, this is your play. You go for the 1 minute power. Do the
there we go.
1 minute at 1,000 watts, like the restart guy on Instagram.
Yes. So Gatesman there, though, trying to stretch that front out. And as you say, I think you're spot on there. If you don't have the sprint, if you can open up a little bit of a gap between you and the other riders there, that could just be enough to get you across the line and sort of seal that position. But there are some strong races in here, and we're seeing Halliday as well as Morris there too. Bollinger, who we saw early on in that breakaway attempt, he's on the mix there. But Walter, can he chase down Gatesman? I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
See, caught everybody else looking.
He went early, and I think it's just enough. No. Although, is he going to hold that to the line? And he does.
Yes.
As they come across the line there. Well, that wasn't there wasn't much in that by the end of it. So Ruben's just jumped into the chat there. Best man won today and the series. So happy with second today and overall. So congratulations, Ruben. That was a fantastic effort. So it's been wonderful watching you race. And that was really just an amazing race that you raced today. Mm-hmm. So well done. And getting lots of congratulations from the other people that have been watching in the stream. So Salibi there, who we saw sort of trying to maybe attack on that climb for the last time, coming across the line.
His last play there.
Yep.
But
and it's great when you do see that, even though some of the racers have probably, given everything they can, they keep punching, they keep pushing, they keep trying right to the very finish. So this is what racing is all about.
Absolutely. And I'll just call out what a finish by Gateman there to catch everybody else looking.
Yep.
That was going to be a competitive sprint. And when everybody else opened up behind him, it was pretty strong. But he played that perfectly and snuck off the front. Yeah.
Yeah. Opened up just enough of a gap there that it made everyone maybe think twice and thinking that maybe he's gone too soon. Mm-hmm. But was able to hang on to that. I think if it had been maybe another 50 meters, he could have gotten, he might have been taken on the line. But yeah, he timed that perfectly. Yeah. Jamie's just jumped in the chat there to say, beaten by much better men today. Congrats to them. So again, very, a lot of great sportsman conduct going on here, and congratulations between the races. So really fantastic to see that. But now all eyes turn to the ladies.
So final lap here for the ladies. Looks like we're just wrapping up the aqueduct. Is that true?
Yep.
I think so. So
just coming down.
So we will start to approach the final QOM where the real fireworks are going to come out.
So Randy is still in the mix there. Just looking to see where Holly is. Holly's a bit off the back. So looking at the list here, yeah. So Leah there. Sarah Roach is going to be the one to, again, keep an eye on. If Damon can bring us up the individual ladies there for the team, the individual standings. Let's just refresh our memories on who we are focused on. But Catherine Curie, 139 points. Sarah Roach at 122. So really, Randy's in a great position here to take second overall in this series if she can better Sarah Roach across the finish line. Catherine Curie, though, if she can hang on and finish in the top three, you'd have to think that, yeah, she'll have this one stitched up.
Mm-hmm.
Jen Reel there in fourth position and Leah in fifth. So that is going to be what we're looking at. Okay.
It's amazing how much this group has stayed together. And now we'll check in because last we left this race, Holly was struggling off the back down that descent. And Holly's still there, only 18 seconds back. So as far as this group has gone, she has not necessarily lost any time. If everybody gets complacent and they get worried about that final climb, they could sit up, let Holly back in, let Holly recover, and she could surprise some people in the finish.
Well, that's right. I mean, you might think that that kind of a gap there is pretty sizable, but given that they're about to hit the climb, if Holly can really power this climb through, she can shut that gap down quite quickly. But I've just been pointed out to me that Catherine Curie isn't in this race. I thought I saw her name before, not correct. So this is really going to come down to Sarah Roach and Randy for the individual leaderboard. Now the question is, can Randy hang on to this group the third time as they go up the KQOM, which will be in a little bit there?
Yeah,
but
we will see.
Holly at 15 seconds out now.
I think as we're talking about Holly, the team tactics are coming into play. You have the restart people or the restart ladies that are kind of hanging off the back, and you have other teams that are like, we do not want Holly back in, so they're on the front trying to keep that pace high, so that
maintain that power.
Back. Yeah.
Yep.
You see Rathwell putting in some turns, Leah putting in some turns, Jen putting in some turns, but no restart people.
Yeah, so Saris there, Team Saris there in the pink jerseys. Yep, so definitely in the mix there. But it's great to see the number of the restart ladies there still in the front, still in this front group. Definitely trying to figure out how they're going to approach this final segment or this final half of the lap, making sure that they can try and maximize their team points, you'd have to think, at this point in the race.
Yeah, so we come through the village here.
Yeah, the second village.
After the village, it gets a little rolly going into the final QM or the final QM
or the aqueduct. Yep.
Yeah, but it's not enough, I think, to break this group up. If you're here at this point, you've proven that you have what it takes, and I don't think
that's
you're gonna
right.
be caught out.
You'd have to think that any kind of attack on the front now would be shut down pretty quickly.
I agree.
So coming up to the aqueduct.com, you're going to start, as you say, it's rolling, it's a bit undulating, but gradually that incline is going to start to kick up, and then they're going to have that short section as they hit the bridge. And whether we could be wrong here, whether one of the ladies here can really put in a big push over that aqueduct could be the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can get away, they could probably hold it. Who knows? We'll see.
So with just over 10 kilometers, 11 kilometers left in this race, there isn't a lot left, as you say. So it's going to be difficult if one of the ladies were to try and push. There isn't a lot left to chase them down if they can open up a gap. But this front group has been consistent. They have been working together. As you say, at this point in the race, you'd be hard-pressed to see one or two of these ladies really, change the dynamic of this group now at this stage.
Yeah, I pretty strongly feel that we're in it to the finish with this group. They're thinking about that final QOM. They're thinking about, how am I going to separate myself? We're not going to go too hard here. I mean, you still have some people working. See, Holly is 9 seconds now. She's almost back. Yeah. She can see them in front of her. So the chase is real. And as we go up this as we go up this final micro QOM,
Yep.
mini QOM. Hopefully Holly doesn't let that dissuade her that they're kind of pushing a little bit, because she will have time to cash back on afterwards.
Yep. If she can put down some good power coming over this little this kick, yeah, she could really see that gap reduced down to maybe even half of what it is at the moment, and in quick time too. But some of the ladies there, Amelia out of the saddle there. We saw Randy still out of the saddle. Sarah Roach, they're the two we want to watch. Sarah Roach and Randy Gino on screen at the moment. So these are the ladies that are vying for first position in the individual ladies leaderboard.
So we'll see pretty soon here who's held everything back till the end and has that one final push.
Yep.
Because like in the men's race,
some matches?
Once you get over that top, if you're away, you're going to stay away.
Yep. It's hard to shut that down. But this descent, I feel the ladies, I think, will be happy to see this descent now. It'll give them a little bit of a chance to recover a little bit. And then, as you say, start thinking about that last climb, which is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, I'll say this descent is a little tricky. I think they're taking it easy here, but I've done some events where people have been hammering here, and there is something about this that if you're not careful, gaps can open up, and it's very hard to pull them back.
Yep. Well, because we can see there that the speeds there, 45 k's now, 46, edging up now towards 50. So trying to shut that kind of a gap down, especially at this late stage of the race where the legs are tired, lactic acid is building up, you'd have to think that'd be a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think these ladies realize that, and they are sticking together like glue at the moment.
You can see Randy just kind of sitting back, not really working. There's some toasting going on in the group.
Yeah.
Maybe doing that little bit of work where they're coming to the front, coasting, kind of make everybody else think that somebody else is going to do the work. So everybody backs off a little bit, and I don't know. Well, the Aqueduct was not kind. Aqueduct was not kind to Holly. I think Holly has thrown in the towel here, but fair play to her. Okay. That was an amazing effort.
Yeah. It's and this is elite racing at its best, and so to jump into this kind of a race, and where these ladies have been doing this for the last 6 races, they know each other, they've been watching each other. It's a tough ask to come into this in the last race and try and really throw the cat among the pigeons, but certainly these ladies have been racing together, and they know what each of them are capable of.
Absolutely. They know what to expect here.
Rob's just joined in, up on the inclines, resting on the short descents. Randy drafting like a pro. Hey, Rob, how are you? So we have, what is this, about 8 Ks to go now. And we have, roughly speaking, about maybe 10 to 4, 6, 8, 10 ladies here in the mix.
Yeah, it should be a good group for going over this final climb.
Yeah. Yep.
I see a lot of this group, they are just eyeing each other up, waiting.
Yeah. Yep. Looking sideways, trying to figure out who are the ones that they need to follow. So Sarah there, Leah as well. Jen Reel, we'll look out for her. Sydney, though, I think Sydney could be the one to keep a really close eye on when it comes to this last climb. She did it. She seemed to me to do it quite easily in the second lap. In this third lap, I think a few of the other ladies here are maybe, they're trying to do their best to hang into this.
Yeah, and I see we have here on the, if you're watching the screen, we have a lot of people that have headsets on. You see a lot of chatter going on as well. So obviously some team tactics probably being discussed, some words of encouragement being passed through.
So game faces there. Randy's looking quite recovered now from that last little effort. Jen Reel as well. Leah there. Heather's getting a bit of a drink.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you say,
This is where, in like a real race, I would be talking to other people, not even on my team. I'd be looking over saying, hey, boy, this last climb, boy, it's awful, isn't it? Just awful. Trying to put the fear in them.
Yeah. Mental games, you think, that's where it's at now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not. That's part of the game. That's part of racing.
That's racing.
The mental game. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be
you
on
can,
the chat in here saying, "Gosh, you guys, I hope you don't attack."
and then bang.
Then you go.
Drop some big whoop bombs.
Yeah. Say, watch for the gravel on this corner, and then you go.
Yeah. Don't get out of the draft. You're going to have to get as much of that as you can. So if you find yourself pushing to the sides there, start to worry.
That would be a great thing. That's where you like start send a message here. Gosh, doesn't the draft seem funny to you? Yeah. And get everybody, especially on this part where you're like so focused on having as much draft as possible here.
Yeah. Is anyone else struggling?
Yeah. Oh gosh. So we're on Holly here. She's brought it back to 11 seconds. She is not giving up. Oh my gosh.
Wow. And that was out to almost 30. Just over that comp.
It was.
That's fantastic, Holly. Keep going. Keep going. Don't let it up. But these ladies, you'd have to think with these ladies on the front, that's a big ask though. You can see Randy there, just Randy's focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at that. So Holly can see the group just up ahead, and she's putting in 3.7 watts per kilo there.
Yeah, I'll call out. I saw Randy with the possibly albuterol. Like, I don't know. There was a little inhaler action there. Maybe she's in difficulty. I hope not.
Oh, hopefully.
We'll see.
Andrew M asks Mike, he goes, "You've never answered me. Is this a ride or a race?"
Oh, yeah. My alter ego is bleeding through here. The racing every day at 4:00. Asking everybody. This is most definitely a race, everybody.
That's right. One of the best races you're likely to see this year.
Area.
Yep. Okay, so this group is now edging up to the first right-hander.
So
right, you're all right.
Everybody remember, right, all right, left, perfect.
Yep, left, not so good.
Lousy left.
Lousy left, there we go, I like that one. But, she's still fighting. Still sitting at 13. Haven't seen her out of the saddle yet. Come on, Holly, get out of the saddle. Finish the rest of this comm off.
Yeah. All right, so they've just made the lousy left, hitting the bigger slopes here. And this is where if somebody's feeling like they want the solo effort or want to put everybody into difficulty.
In the hurt locker. Yep.
This is it. This is
the time to do it?
Final spot. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you go here, turn right, it kind of falls flats for a little bit, but
recover for a moment.
Time. Yeah, you need enough time to make that separation meaningful, because if it's just a few seconds, it's going to get pulled back.
Yeah. But I guess the question then really is, who has that in their legs at this point in the race to get out of the saddle and drop an extra 2 or 3 watts? Even though it's, the finish line is just up ahead, to do that now in this race, it's got to be a big ask for a few of these riders. Mm-hmm. But Sydney seems quite collected there. Sarah, I think, is biding her time.
Sydney's facial expression has not changed.
It's glass, isn't it? Yeah.
This entire 2 hours, just cool as a cucumber.
Absolutely just locked, focused.
It's that elite triathlete mentality. Just
Yep. Love the pain.
Mm-hmm.
So Randy's still fighting hard though. I'm just watching in her stream as well. So she's still head down.
Go.
The shoulders are starting to scrunch up a little bit around the neck there. So
here's the acceleration up the front.
Here we go.
Thompson.
Sarah. Yep. One of the ladies we're going to watch. So she is sitting second on this leaderboard behind Catherine Curie. Catherine is not in this race. So Sarah could absolutely take out this series right now. Oof. So they're all out of the saddle. All pushing hard.
Yeah.
Amelia there. Yeah. Leah as well. Sydney.
Levels out just a little bit more here. Yep. So you think you can get back on. It looks like this group has enough momentum that they could probably stick together here. We'll see. But really strong performance by Thompson and Sydney on the front.
Yep. And so
we see Randy on the back here. Hopefully she can stick with it.
Starting to get dropped. Can she hang on?
Still in the draft window. So all it takes, Randy's did the last part. It's just going to take like a 25-second effort.
Yep.
Just stay with it.
You're spot on there. Just to get out of the saddle now and start really digging in.
That front group is accelerating and Randy isn't. So
it's stretching,
it might be over.
Will the elastic snap just as they come over the top?
And
it could come down to Thompson, Andrew, and Roach as they come towards the banner here. Now, we've still got a descent to go, so they've still got about 4Ks left in this race. This is not the finish.
Yeah, really savvy racing by the teams here in the points.
Yeah,
you can see
starting to break away now.
They played it cool the entire race, like Abus, and they now last climb they got 2 people that are 5 seconds ahead. Mm-hmm. They are so close on that team standing that they might have enough here to firmly put themselves into first place.
Yeah, yep. And I think you nailed it when you said that that second, maybe the third or second last turn, that's where they had to kick, and that's exactly what they did. And now they've opened up a gap. Even 3, 4, 5 seconds coming into that descent is going to be incredibly hard to shut down at this point in the race.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like Randy is off the pace. We got 20-second gap up to the front. 30 seconds. Oh, boy.
Almost 40 now.
Yeah. But it looks like that front group is still Thompson, Sydney, and
Roach.
Roach. Oh, that's a strong group.
Yeah. They really did turn the screws, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Randy is 30 seconds off the pace here. The second group sitting at 20 seconds. Only 10 behind that front group, so they might, looks like it's mainly SARS. They might be able to pull it back.
Yeah, it does, yep. So Nyquist is trying to get a bit of a super tuck happening here, which I think Randy will be happy to see as well, so she can sit in that draft. Here she goes. Again, there we go.
Yes. All right.
Oh, no, sorry. Randy's 40 seconds behind. My mistake.
Yeah,
no. Sorry, it keeps jumping around. Yeah, so Randy and...
real interested in seeing the front here. Because we still have, it looks like, 13 seconds, 12 seconds separating that front group.
Yep.
But
so if we can jump up to Sarah Roach or Sydney Andrew.
There we go. Oh, look at this. This is now Thompson is committed. These are some big numbers as we pull down this hill. Yeah, 4.2, 4.7 watts per kilo. I think they got to be real careful here, Nathan, because if they get complacent, that second group is going to catch up real quick.
You think it'll roll over them?
Coming off a big hill
15 seconds.
Coming off a big hill like this,
could be.
You can.
They could maintain that speed into the flats, whereas these guys will start to feather that power off a little bit. Or feather that speed off.
Yeah.
Yep. And we did see one of the riders off the front of that second group in the men's almost get caught in the sprint.
Yeah.
So that could definitely be the place as well here with the final Marina finish.
A big sprint can get you going real quick in Zwift.
Yep.
So, although it looks like now this front three has definitely pulled out that gap, so I don't think it's going to come back at this point.
Almost 20 seconds now. Sarah Roach there for Maber, Synergy, Thompson, and Andrew as well.
So here, I think we got to be careful because Sydney, you see Sydney's on the front doing the highest power of everybody.
Yep.
So, but their teammates behind her, they may be happy just to let Sydney do all the work to the finish unless Sydney thinks she can get away.
Unless she thinks she can finish it off. So we've got about 600 meters left, 500 meters now as they come around towards that right-hander, just up ahead, just passing the start pins now. We can see Sydney there starting to raise the power. There we go. We're starting to see a bit of expression now on the face. The head's moving from side to side. Sarah's still seated. I think Sarah's happy to sit in there and try and draft as much as she can, but Thompson as well.
Oh, here comes the
Here we go,
sprints,
out of the saddle. Here you go, Sarah, around that corner. There's only maybe 150 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters now towards that finish. I think Sarah has jumped just in time. And Thompson followed by Andrew. And I think you're right there. I think they were happy to let Andrew lead them to the finish.
Yeah.
And then they've just come over the top.
Yeah, Abus played that well. Just sat in, got the free ride, and hopped over for the
Velta
finish.
now coming around the corner. Jen Reel just behind her. Leah Cuthbertson too. Leah's going to come over Jen, and Shanks just in behind them as well. Oh, can't take it.
Nice finish.
And as we see Rathwell come across the line too there. But a big finish there from Sarah Roach. And that has locked up the series for her as on the individual standings.
Ooh, this is a long sprint. Oh, boy. Look at them go. It's so
I think she's
far
trying
out.
to... Come on, Randy, get over the top. Let's go. Use that draft. There's still a lot to go. Here she is. Coming around the corner. I think she can do it. She's going to take her. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice sprint.
Yeah, that's tough from that distance out. Wow.
Yeah. There'll be some tired legs.
Here's Holly. Not that far behind, honestly. Nice job, Holly.
Come on, Holly, do a sprint.
Oh, what a great race series. It's really cool to see racing at this level on Zwift. Or this racing at this level, period, from the community.
But absolutely.
Seeing all
Dean
the teams
Cunningham
that we know
has done a fantastic job in bringing these elite races together over 6 races. And it hasn't been just 6 weeks. So it has gone over Christmas. It has gone over some time. So the fact that these races have committed to being in this race over that time is just fantastic to see, and a real testament to how well Dean has organised this race series.
Yes, absolutely. Hats off to him. Hats off to everybody in the community for participating in this. It's great to see. It makes everything worthwhile to see everybody racing and seeing all the positive messages in the chat. It's amazing.
Yeah, and week after week, race after race, having all the fans turn up, cheering on, teammates, and the races they've been following has just been fantastic to watch as well. And of course, Damon as well from ZMS Esports Studio for putting this on. It's been one of the best broadcasts you're likely to see in Zwift, especially with all the individual cameras having all of that that visual. The visual format of the races participating has just been fantastic to have on screen. So again, a wonderful effort there from ZMS Esports Studio.
Yeah, quite a technical production here. So
just seeing Schneider come across the line there as well. So, and we've got just the last rider, Horner, there coming in from Germany.
Down that
it
final
has been,
hill there.
And I've got to say, I think Dean was probably quite chuffed that he decided on this route, 3 laps of this route for the last race,
Yeah, what were you thinking,
knowing
Dean?
how
Jeez.
painful it was going to be. I think he designed this race series quite well.
I'll tell you, the route helps, but racers make the race. And having everybody competing at this high level is great to see.
And the competitiveness, though, it's just fantastic to see them, not giving in, not giving up, and still fighting for every position, for every point that was on offer, is just amazing. And that's what, as you say, Mike, that's what's made this series, the races and the effort and the passion they've got for it, and not giving in has been just inspirational.
Absolutely. So what's next? I got to ask Dean here. Is he going to do this again? Are we going to have a spring edition? So. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd be able to fit in 6 races before the summer, but it's currently snowing like crazy here in Wisconsin, so maybe we could.
I was going to say, this would be the time to do it because you're not going outside that often, are you?
No. It would be great to see. And I guess we have some the Zwift games are going to be picking up here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still plenty of time left. Maybe I would even
You'll have to get on to.
Things.
You'd give it a shot. You'd get in the mix.
I'd be done immediately. I'd be done in the first 10 minutes of that men's race. Oh my goodness.
Well, especially with Ruben there and Nala as well. So some of those performances, and looking across now at the men's leaderboard, we'll bring it up from the bottom there. Thibaut Bollinger in 10th, Mark there, Santo in 9th, Jack Morris there in 8th, Matteo there in 7th, Julian Hers in 6th, David Pacheco in 5th, Travis Gatesman in from Relentless there in 4th, Jamie Philpott, a fantastic effort there in 3rd, Ruben Donto in 2nd, just behind the Norwegian Viking himself, Najal Peterson in 1st from RWB. 1 hour and 33 minutes. That's, my gosh, that's impressive.
It's fast. That is
All
so
right,
fast.
and we'll have the ladies' results up momentarily. But gosh, 1 hour and 33 for that 70 kilometer monster with 465 meters of climbing is just an amazing effort. And the fact that Najal took in the polka dot jersey on the last lap too. So it just shows you the effort and the power he was putting in all the way to the finish.
Yeah, 70 kilometers goes by quick when you're doing 5.5 watts per kilogram the whole time, I guess.
5.5 watts, yeah. It just really flies by. Like it's,
Yeah, like nothing.
Yeah, just watching a bit of TV, send some text messages. Holly's jumped in the chat. Well done, Holly. You never gave up. That's right. It was fantastic. It was a really good show. So, and I miss you too, Holly. It'll be good to do another race series, hopefully after this. If Dean or someone else is inspired to put one together.
Yeah, Holly, come back. I'm no good at this. You need to save me.
Oh, no, you were fantastic, Mike. In actual fact, it was really, really wonderful having you on board there, standing in for Holly. So, I was being told that you were the OG for Restart.
No, yeah. So a long time ago, Dean and I connected on Reddit of all places. We started what became Restart back then, and it's grown now to what it is today. Oh, so here we have the results for the women. I can handle those. So we have
take us through it, Mike. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll start from bottom up. M. Nyquist, Randy, 10th and 9th. 8th place, Megan Rathwell, 27 seconds down. Heather Shanks, 23 seconds down. 6th place, Jen Reel. Leah Cuthbertson, 23 seconds down as well. 4th place, Amelia Welt, Sydney Andrew in third, and then Abus took the top 2 places at an hour 51 minutes. Maria Tomerby in second, and Sarah Roach in first, taking the W.
Yeah. So it looks as if A-Bus Synergy have taken out the team standings. Excuse me. And Sarah, the individual. So another fantastic effort. But for the ladies there, an hour and 51. Really, just inspirational performance here, that's for sure. Now, of course, we should note that all these results are provisional. They will go through and do some checks to make sure that everyone's verified, that all their numbers are correct, that there's nothing else that they need to address or worry about. But they're just looking at the Beast Mode Preem awards there for the key segment, which was the Petite KOM in the first lap. So, we had Amelia there in third, Sydney Andrew in second, and Sarah Roach in first. And then for the men's, we had Jamie Philpott there, 1 point. Ruben Dont there in second with 2 points, and Nadal Peterson in first with 3 points. So he has stitched that up as well, and it's just been a treat. Being able to watch these guys race, watch them all compete like this has been really fantastic.
Absolutely. And we could have just ended the men's race after the first preem.
After that first lap?
Yeah. Why even race it? Same places. Incredible.
Well, that's how they finished. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, you'd have to think that the MVP there really was Jamie in the way that he held off that chasing group by himself there for that last sort of 15 Ks.
Yeah. Massive
after having sitting in with Niall and Ruben there as well. And so that was a really, fantastic to see that sort of effort and that level of commitment to it. And of course, Dean Cunningham there.
Yeah, there's the picture. That's nope. No, there's the other picture. I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, no, the first one's the right one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Of course, Dean, our team manager, he, like I mentioned, we started this thing a long time ago.
Yep.
It was originally not super serious. I'll say that. There's a lot more behind it, but he has brought us into legitimacy. He has led the way and really elevated Restart to a leader in the community for verification and participation in things. I can't say enough nice things about Dean. Amazing person, despite his language impediment.
Well, certainly his description of you wasn't as considered as your kind comments about him. So I can tell you that much when I was asking about that in the Discord chat. So, but it was all done with tongue in cheek. He certainly, there was a lot of respect there, and it was wonderful I think it was quite fitting to have you join us for this final race of this spectacular series. And as you say, hopefully Dean can work something out for the winter break for most of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And convince a few of these racers to rejoin in and see if they can, revisit this series.
Yeah, and I'll put in a few digs here. So first, I'll say if you want more Zwift racing, subscribe to ZMS here. He has a lot of stuff going on, amazing production and everything. So if you can't get enough watching this stuff on YouTube, participating in the chat, like, share, and subscribe. Smash that button, as the kids say. I'll promote myself a little bit too if you're interested in more irreverent content.
Absolutely.
I have a podcast that I do with a few other people. Most notably Kevin Bouchard Hall he's been around for a while. We call the podcast Nowhere Fast. It's on the Wide Angle Podium Network, so you can look around. It's on all the streaming things. You can find us. We are irreverent is the right word. Yeah, if you're looking for a different take on Zwift that's not super serious, look us up. It's a lot of fun, and we talk to some pretty interesting people. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Do yourself a favor, go along and look at that. I'm actually looking for, and Mike, if you've got the link there handy, if you want to drop that into the chat there so that people who've been watching can get along and have a listen to that podcast. It is really great to listen to. I'm a big fan of it. So do yourself a favor, get in there and have a look at that. That, as I say, is the Restart Invitational Esports race series. And it's been wonderful watching all the races join in. Holly, thank you very much for commentating this with me for the previous 5 races. Congratulations on a fantastic race today. And Mike Swartz, thank you for joining us as well. And hopefully we'll get together for a race series coming up. But as I say, thank you everyone. Thank you ZMS Esports Studio for putting this on and putting together such a wonderful production. It's been just amazing to watch it. Having all the camera angles there really is a testament to the effort and the love you have for this this racing. So thank you very much. And to everyone that joined in the chat, we appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next race series.